Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here, and in today's video, I want to talk about the Eternal PQ I just went to in Bellevue this past weekend. Since I'm traveling from Alaska, I usually only like to hit the bigger events like sectors and regionals, but I couldn't make it happen this season, so it turns out the only competitive events near me were Eternal. I had one this past weekend in Bellevue and another one near Portland this Sunday. When Eternal was first announced, I figured it would be a fun alternative meta, but not my main focus. But due to how the available tournaments worked out for me, Eternal has been all I've played this season. Currently I have 50 points for the season, so I really want to hit 100 to dodge the last chance qualifier in Vegas. Preparing for Eternal was surprisingly fun. My first major tourney I went to for SWU was the Denver sector, so I was able to experience firsthand just how toxic the Django meta was, but it was still fun since there was the first time we got to see all the previously banned cards be playable at the same time in combination with the Lawless Time release, which made deck building pretty interesting. So like pretty much everyone else, I predicted that Django would still be the absolute best deck and used it as the blueprint to test other decks into to see if they had a chance. First two I tried were Han 2 Blue Force with Force Though and Han 1 Yellow. Both of these decks are the ones I've had the most amount of reps on and got quite a few new tools, so I was hoping with the new additions they would maybe have a chance into Django. First I tried Han 2, which had absolutely zero game into Django, felt super unwinnable, so gave up almost immediately. Whereas Han 1 I was really excited about, had pretty good game into Django back then, and has gotten a ton of good cards since then. Splash-based Resupply, Faith in Your Friends, and Qui-Gon are all strong additions that on paper seem great. Then I figured with DJ coming back, he would be able to make it so any 6 cost or higher leaders would just get wrecked like it was before pre-ban, and boy was that wrong. So after a ton of testing, Django matched up, felt winnable, but it didn't feel good unless Han 1 just destroys the rest of the field, and it turns out it basically just loses to the rest of the Eternal meta with the exception of Hard Control, which surprised me a ton. So after a week left till the tournament to prep, I figured just go with the obvious best deck in Django. So this is the list I ended up taking for the event. Only a couple new cards added to Django, but they make a pretty big difference. First being Punishing One, adds another threat that makes Triple Dark Raid even stronger, where you're happy to play TDR on 3R that can represent up to 2 pings and usually up to 5 damage on base. Also, it's a card that can keep tapping on attack, which is massive in a ton of situations. Shin Hati, already a great statted unit that can threaten leaders on their flip turn. 7 health dies to Surprise Strike and 6 health dies to Hotshot Blaster, so you can keep most of the relevant leaders in check, such as Han, Django, and Gar. And moreover, the shield makes it really annoying to exhaust, especially in the mirror. Hotshot Blaster, on the other hand, is one that I felt kind of bad this weekend in testing. I like it versus Gar and Han 1, but I had a ton of mirrors and it felt terrible in that matchup, so I may end up cutting this going forward, but not sure yet. Overall, I had a main focus on as many 3Fs as possible. The deck feels so optimized now that I just wanted to give myself as many chances as possible to draw into the most powerful cards, such as Sneak Attack and TDR, to represent as much pressure as possible. Sideboard is where I could have been a bit better in my opinion. Missing No Good to Be Dead. This is great in the Boba 1 matchup that cost me a match in round 2. System Shock, great in Dagar since they have so many shielded X1s. So Electromagnetic Pulse, this is great in the Django mirror. I'm personally having a hard time fitting in 3. It's just really difficult to cut some of the cards, so I might trim this down to 2, but I'm not sure yet. Grindin probably should have stayed main, brought in mainly for the Boba 1 matchup to be able to rip out their Boba's armor. And it's also good in the mirror as well, especially if you can like string 2 of them together. Like that's pretty powerful because you can guarantee that second card that's getting ripped out, especially if they have a 2 of whatever threat you're trying to remove. And now let me get into the actual matchups. First off, which is Kazuda in round 1, which is kind of funny since this is my second PQ at Mox, and both times my round 1 opponent is a Kazuda. Ended up taking down this match 2-1. The wins weren't too stressful. Being able to fight him in space with exhaust really messes up Kazuda's game plan. Round 2 versus Boba Data Vault. Ended up losing 2-0 this matchup. I practiced a ton as Han 1 Yellow, but as I loop back to Django in the final week of playtesting, I completely forgot to play this matchup. Still a very strong deck that I should have respected, but it's just not the world beater it used to be. So game 1 was ramp into Boba's armor, which basically ends the game without No Good to Be Dead, which I didn't have in my deck or sideboard. board for this event, which is a big mistake and one I'm going to not make for the next tourney. And then game 2 had a few interesting scenarios play out. Even though I ended up losing, I sided my Grindins to hit his Boba's armor on flip. Luckily, he didn't ramp this game, so I was able to flip the same turn as him and hit the Boba's armor out with Grindin. Hand revealed Craving Power and Hold for Questioning is something else that I forgot about. So on the 6R turn, he leads with Craving Power to kill my Django. I have Sneak Attack Ruthless Raider, so I want to push as much damage out as possible before he has a chance to hold for questioning me, since he could attack with Boba and ready 2 resources and have hold for questioning go live. I go for the sneak attack line and he top deck Electromagnetic Pulse, so I was able to tap down my Ruthless and save 4 damage. Unlucky scenario, but thought it was interesting since playing around one card made me walk face first into another answer. But super well played by the opponent. He's a great Kira player. I played him at the last tournament as well. Well played, GG's to him. So the big things I'm going to be doing going forward in that particular matchup is No Good to Be Dead. Like I was saying earlier, that's a really big card in that particular matchup. But then also with Garindin, it might be worth, if you have double Garindin, playing both of them on the flip turn on 5R. So the first one, you can try to hit the one that's telegraphed, and then the second one would be a guaranteed hit because you're going to be able to see their hand with the first resolve, and then a second resolve, you can just call whatever you want to see. And then because Grindin is a unique unit, one of them will die, but that's really not that big of a deal if you're going to be ripping up to 2 really important cards in that particular matchup. Now in the tournament, I'm 1-1, which in PQ, that's your only loss to give to make top 8. And unfortunately, a lot of my friends were also 1-1, so a team kill was likely, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So round 3 matchup against Jfire, who's a good friend and main testing partner for all these live events I go to, so bummed me out to be able to play him so soon. This was a Django Mirror, was able to take it down 2-0. Notice throughout the match, he was a bit more wide with his list with Greedos and ISBs, which allowed him to have this massive board versus me, but very little cards in hand. I forgot specifically the board state, but he revealed his sneak attack and only one other card in hand. I had War Jug, but also a sneak attack, so I could have played it safe, but figured it was worth just putting the pressure now and tapping the board and make him dump his hand. But it turned out his second card was a Greedo, so that got me game 1. And then in game 2, don't remember it too well, but ended up taking that one down as well. Round 4, another Django Mirror versus Derek, another friend that I happened to meet at the Denver sector a year ago, which was also a Django meta, so that's kind of fun. He ended up taking it down 2-0, which knocked me out of the top 8 running. Congrats to him, though. He had a great run and was able to make the finals at this event. Game 1, he was in control for a lot of it. Shin on the ground made it to where he pressured my Django well and killed it off pretty easily, which is a really big deal in that particular matchup. I ended up killing his a couple turns later. Then I had Sneak Attack Dev. Then he had his triple dark and got Dev as well. I had the choice of going face and then needing to top deck another Dev for a guaranteed win. But then if I didn't hit it, I would lose on the spot to him playing his Dev the next turn. So I went for a trade and lost a bit later. I probably should have just gone for the YOLO, since being behind in that matchup is just so hard to come back from. And so, because what I was going to be able to do is sneak attack Dev, and kill his Django, attack base for 9, and then I would have, because I did like a little bit of damage to kill his Django, a little bit of damage to his base. I knew I wasn't going to get tapped down. I sneak attack the Devin. He ends up going triple dark raid Dev. I could have just attacked base, would have left him with exactly 4 HP. He attacks my base, I claim, and then if I rip the Devastator, which I ended up not doing, but that would be results-oriented thinking, it doesn't matter. If I did rip it, I would be able to just play it on 8 resources and instantly win the game. So in that particular situation, it was probably the move, but it is what it is. That would have probably been my best out to win that match. Game 2 was closer, but the final interaction came down to him having a shielded Crafty and a Django with 4 health on the board. I had 5 life left, so I'm dead to Surprise Strike unless I could tap both. I have Sneak Attack and Devastator, so I had the option of like Sneak Attack Dev to kill Django and guarantee it won't get tapped, but I'm dead to Surprise Strike. I ended up going for a double tap with Sneak Attack on his Crafty and Django, but then I lose immediately because he also had the triple dark red to be able to pull out Devastator of his own, and then it also turned out that he had Surprise Strike, so he had all the answers anyway. I was just trying to play to my outs. Well played by him though, and congrats to him again for making the finals. I'm sure I could have played it better, but it's really hard to tell what I could have done better without being able to record that match and watch it back. Was bummed that knocked me out of the tournament, but it is what it is. Ended up moving my flight up a couple hours, but still had time to stick around for the final 2 rounds. Round 5, he just forfeited, and then round 6 was another Django Mir, which I ended up taking down 2-1. But he was a really good player, and even though we were both out of the running for top 8, it was nice to get some good live practice versus a good player. Overall finished 10th. Basically anything less than top 8 for some points is a disappointment. But I had a lot of fun despite not being able to make the top cut and it being all Django. Got another Eternal PQ near Portland. I believe it's called in Beaverton this Sunday. So looking forward to that. But if you guys are going to that tournament, definitely say what's up if you see me there. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.